Testing.
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 I have my glasses on, too.
I know you never wear your glasses.
No, because I don't need them to see you, but for this exciting episode, the computer is far enough away that I just can't see. And I can't see.
No. You can't. Yeah. All right. Let's see how that sounded.
Do you think it's going to make me different?
No. You're just the way you are, no matter what glasses you wear or don't wear.
You know, we were talking about yearbooks the other day.
Yeah.
And people would write in my yearbook, it would be like, never change.
Yes.
And I'd be like, listen, trust me, I've tried. Like, this is what we're working on.
Okay, let's see how that sounded. All right. Hi, Charlotte.
Madeline, hello.
We're back.
Woo!
We have such an incredible episode today. We interviewed RedZone host Scott Hanson, which was like a dream come true that I didn't know I needed, but now I need it, and now I'm obsessed with RedZone.
Yeah, no, Madeline watched RedZone for the first time a few weeks ago, and the video went viral. Scott saw it, so kindly agreed to come on the show. We had such a thoughtful, funny, lovely conversation with him. He gave us way more time than he had to.
Yeah.
You're gonna love it.
It's so good.
But first we have some workplace drama happening in sports that is so massive we simply cannot go another day without talking about it. This news broke yesterday, like enough time after we finished recording the show that we couldn't go back and do it. But it actually turned out it worked pretty well because it broke on Tuesday because now we've had sort of a news cycle to discuss this, and we're recording this on Wednesday, so if you're hearing this on Thursday and more stuff has happened, which I'm sure it will, just know that we will address it next week.
For sure.
But what we're talking about, of course, is Napheesa Collier, WNBA star of the Minnesota Lynx. They were recently bounced from the playoffs. A lot of drama around that. You can go listen to our episode from Tuesday for the full context. She showed up to her exit press interview with a prepared written statement where she pretty much eviscerated the league and its leadership in a very impressive, tactful way.
Yes. So the TLDR, we'll get into the specifics, is that she basically claims that the league lacks accountability on key issues, and she needed to speak candidly in this exit interview because, quote, for far too long I have tried to have these conversations in private, but it's clear that there's no intention of accepting there's a problem. She then continued on to say, the league has made it clear it isn't about innovation. It isn't about collaboration. It's about control and power.
I mean,
when I watch, it's like a 4.5 minute or so full statement that she reads from. I don't know if I've ever seen a player in any sport call out the league and then she calls out the commissioner directly, which we will get into, in any sort of format like that, so explicitly.
Yeah, no, this was such an impressive display of someone who knows their worth, knows their power, and is willing to take a risk.
Yes.
And to say something against these very powerful people. And clearly, so what she says, basically, you should watch the full thing. I was deeply impressed.
Yeah.
And I think it also speaks to what we always say on the Sports Gossip Show.
Yes.
Your employer is not your friend.
No.
And it doesn't mean that some people at your company or the leaders of your company don't care about you. Like that, I also want to be clear about that. Like there are lovely people at companies and there are leaders who really, really care. But in a lot of situations, the bottom line is just going to be more important.
Yes.
Than the individual. Capitalism. Anyway, but what Napheesa basically is saying that Cathy Englebert, the commissioner, does not care about the players.
No.
She said, we have the best league in the world. We have the best fans in the world, but we have the worst leadership in the world.
Yeah. And another thing that I thought was just like so striking that she said about the leadership was she said, our leadership's ability to being held accountable is to suppress everyone's voices by handing out fines. I'm not concerned about a fine. I'm concerned about the future of our sport.
She also had specific receipts.
The receipts. I could not believe some of these receipts.
No, this was like investigative journalism, except that the star of a league was doing it herself.
Right.
She said she quoted a conversation that she had had with Cathy Englebert, the commissioner, and that Engelbert said players should be on their knees thanking their lucky stars for the media rights deal that I got them, which I believe was a $2.2 billion media rights deal. But like the WNBA is skyrocketing. I would argue that is a deal that whoever is the commissioner should have been able to make.
Totally. Yeah.
She also said, Cathy said, Caitlin Clark should be grateful she makes $16 million off the court, because without the platform the WNBA gives her, she wouldn't be making anything. Napheesa also said of Caitlin and the other young stars of the league, Angel Reese and Paige Beckers, that it's absurd that they are making, I think they're making, what, $78,000 a year for 4 years?
Yeah. Crazy.
Crazy. So Cathy had something to say about that.
She, of course, had something to say. She's like, I had the utmost respect for her and for all the players in the WNBA. She continued on to say, you know, together we have all worked tirelessly to transform the league. My focus remains on ensuring a bright future for the players and the WNBA, including collaborating on how we continue to elevate the game. Then continued on. I am disheartened by how she characterized our conversations and league leadership. But even when our perspectives differ, my commitment is to the players and to the work will not waver. So she's not denying she said those things, really.
No.
So it's like, whether we don't know it's true, but I don't think she would have put that in her statement for her exit interview if it wasn't what happened.
No.
So just going to say that. So, but the statement feels very like I'm a commissioner and I'm going to kind of deny and deflect, but also not really explicitly deny anything that was said during the exit interview. So I don't know.
This is a hardcore, I'm seething behind the scenes, but I have to say this.
Yes.
Also, we should mention a very important part of this is that the WNBA is in a collective bargaining agreement contract negotiation, the players with the league. And Aces star Chelsea Gray, the Aces made it to the finals last night. So we've got a desert final. We got Aces Mercury.
I was saying to my husband, Gutter, I was like, wow, this is a really short flight. Always thinking about transportation.
Always.
Oh, I was like, oh, this little quick little jaunt. Not too far.
Watched a whole video on the Erie Canal this morning.
Yeah, she sent it to me. It's for sure.
It's a good one. We'll link it somewhere.
Yeah.
But so Chelsea Gray said of the negotiations, of where they are with league leadership, not great, not where we thought and wanted to be at this point in time. We're not where we should be or where we thought we would be when we decided to opt out. It's not anywhere where we thought it would be. It's market share, it's salaries, it's player safety, it's everything. I wouldn't say that's where we want to be for maybe one thing. Also, Napheesa said, she basically said something that was so fascinating. She was like, look, I'm paraphrasing here. Go listen to what she said. But she was like, the league doesn't care about us. That's fine.
Yeah.
But what's crazy is they don't care about the product they're putting on the floor because the officiating has been so inconsistent for so long.
Right.
And she sort of lights him up because she's like, look, we know our company doesn't care about us.
Yeah.
But you don't care about the thing that you're selling?
Right.
Like, that's what you're undermining. And she said she knows what it takes to run a league because she's a co-founder of Unrivaled, the women's basketball league that takes place, that should be working with the NBA more, WNBA more, but that is like the W is kind of weird about.
Right. Right.
So she really she was buttoned. She was so buttoned up.
She had receipts, timeline, everything. She was prepared and locked in for that statement. There was some reporting that came out after all of this broke that potentially, Cathy Englebert might be on the way out as commissioner and is likely to exit sometime during the current CBA negotiations due to pressure inside the NBA and WNBA. So, I mean, I don't know how she could stay on as a commissioner. I saw someone tweet, like, she has to present, like, the championship trophy in the finals. You know what I mean? Like, awkward.
Yikes. Oh, she is going to get booed.
So, I mean.
Also, the W, in response to that reporting, said categorically false, blah, blah, blah. Also, Cathy Englebert was the CEO of Deloitte, which is a consulting firm. And consulting firms love to come in and like tell companies how to do more with less people.
Efficiency.
Yeah, redundancies.
Yeah.
So you just keep it something that I think feels a little
it's
maybe relevant. Also, Napheesa said that Cathy never calls her or talks to her, or like she only hears from her through a spokesperson when Cathy doesn't like something. this could be folks, a watershed moment for the WNBA. Like, and just for Napheesa to know what power she had, to know she's been in the league a long time. She's financially stable, I would imagine, with all of her other stuff going on. And to know that she could take a risk and call these people out because she says it hasn't worked behind closed doors.
No, I mean, it takes a lot of guts and courage to stand up to the head of your employer, essentially, the CEO.
Yeah.
Board of directors, which we'll get to that in Scott Hanson interview in a little bit, actually.
Yeah.
That it takes a lot of courage to do that.
Yeah.
You know, and also to show up with so many receipts. I mean, I truly it would have been one thing if her statement was just kind of vague, little word salady of like, I'm disappointed with leadership, but that was kind of it. She was like, no, I'm actually going to get into some verbatim quotes that were said to me.
I think she knew she had to do that.
Yeah.
I think she knew she had to go nuclear if this was going to register. And the outpouring of support from people around the league, it seems like she's got league public opinion on her side.
For sure. I mean, she's also the vice president of the Players Association, and I don't feel like she would do that if she didn't have the support, obviously.
Yes.
You know, it's just, she's kind of a representative for the other players
especially,
in a lot of ways.
During these negotiations.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that... Can't wait to see where this goes. I think it's also very cool in a political climate where people are encouraged not to say things to power.
Yeah.
That Napheesa got up there and was like, "Well, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Find me. I don't care."
Yeah,
and
I love it.
And what I will say, the only thing that can stand up to power is collective action.
Amen.
We love a union around here.
We love a union. We love a union.
All right. Well, without further ado, a little bit of ado, because we do have to say that Scott Hanson, interview coming up. We've got it right here. He's the host of NFL RedZone, and it is available across all television and cable providers, as well as NFL Plus and YouTube Sunday Ticket. And for more information about where to get it, visit NFL.com/RedZone.
Oh, so excited.
Look at that.
Well, enjoy our conversation with Scott. It's truly a fabulous combo.
Okay. Listen, my heart's beating pretty fast, everybody. This is a huge day. We are so thrilled to welcome to the show Emmy Award winning. Sorry. You know what? I'm going to start that over. I got a little.
No, I love it. No, do not. We're friends. You invite me into your home every week, right?
True. That's true.
You know, technically, we're leaving this part in. We're actually going to leave this part in. Scott Hanson, we are so thrilled to have you on the show today. Emmy Award winner. You are the host of RedZone, of Gold Zone for the Olympics. You are in Madden, the video game. And anybody listening, if you're a football fan, Scott is the voice of your Sundays. We are so thrilled to welcome you to the show. Thank you for being here.
Charlotte, Madeline, great to be with you. This was meant to be after I saw the amazing viral video that y'all put out.
Yeah.
What was it? It's about a few weeks ago, probably, right?
A few weeks ago. We obviously have to start with that. So I obviously had not watched you work. I mean, you were like a god of Sunday football. Like, I was like, I cannot believe I'm watching this man just control my Sunday in a way. I was just fully enamored. And I must ask, when you saw the video, what was your first reaction?
I thought it was awesome because I thought a lot of people will do videos about RedZone. And heck, we've been spoofed on Saturday Night Live. We've been spoofed by Family Guy. I made an appearance on The Simpsons one time doing Punt Zone. So there's all kinds of videos that are out there. But when I watched yours, I don't know if you tagged me in it or one of our fans tagged us in it together. But when I came across it, I was like, this is so sweet. It was so sincere.
Aww.
I thought, okay. I was like, is this woman pretending? Like, is she going to come up with some kind of joke or whatever? But you legitimately had only heard of RedZone or whatever. You had only, you.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm a sports gossip enthusiast. I love watching football, but I don't know why I had never watched RedZone.
Well, I think RedZone is if someone introduces you to it and you get hooked, and I was really honored to be able to be the person who introduced you to it. I think, Scott, my reaction of watching Madeline watch RedZone for the very first time, it was like watching a child see snow. it was like it was so pure. I've like gone back and watched it, and it's so and like my voice in the background is like the parent being like, "Yep, well, when water gets really cold, like
it freezes."
But can you do me a favor? I think we might have some listeners who might not be familiar with RedZone, and if they're not, I would also just love to hear you describe what RedZone is.
Well, let me ask you this. Am I speaking to a primarily non-football audience? Am I speaking to an audience whose boyfriend or significant other probably watches RedZone and they're like, why are you so enraptured with this show every Sunday? Why do I not talk to you for 7 straight hours? Is that like the audience I'm speaking to right now?
Well, that's a great question. Interestingly enough, for our show, which I think is something we're actually very proud of, we have all types of listeners. So there's some listeners who are obsessed with you, and there's some listeners who might not know who you are. So, maybe somewhere in the middle.
So to start from the very scratch, from like what any viewer would understand. So when the NFL kicks off Sunday at 1:00 Eastern, everyone has watched a football game, even if they've only watched just the Super Bowl at a party or something like that. Well, 1:00 Eastern on Sunday, not only does the football game in your city kick off, but there are 6, 7, 8 other games going on, and they kick off all at the same time. Now, if you flip on your regular television, CBS or Fox at 1:00, you'll see whatever game they're carrying in your home market, right? If you live in Dallas, the Cowboys game is on, right? You live in Atlanta, the Falcons game is on. NFL RedZone is a show that takes all 7, 8, 9 games, however many there are playing simultaneously, and shuffles them all together in kind of a live greatest hits format, where I'm in a studio here in Los Angeles and I'm watching a wall of monitors at the same time. I'm watching all 7, 8, 9 games, and our staff is watching all of them. And we say, hey, you know what? This is interesting right now. Let's go to this game. This is interesting right now. Okay, well, they're going to commercial break, or there's an injury, or there's something going on there. Let's go to another game. And it's kind of as if we have your remote control on your television, and we change it for you to say, here's the best NFL action at any given moment. And we do it for 7 straight hours with every game, show you every touchdown, all the greatest parts. And people think it's we've been doing it now for more than 16 years. This is season 17. And some people say it's changed the way they've watched football, and they'll never go back to the way they did before.
I got chills hearing you explain. Like, truly, and I think part of it is like you make viewers feel so safe. Like, hey, when you have that remote, you really make us feel like, we are in good hands. You are so prepared. No, truly. And something we wanted to ask you about was like, when did you realize how much you meant to people watching? When did you realize like the role you play in fans' lives?
Oh my goodness, that's a big thing. Well, let me comment on what you said before. I appreciate, and I can speak for our staff on NFL RedZone, we appreciate the trust of the audience so much. I mean, we burn for, we want to be the best one-stop shopping for NFL fans, for sports fans, for just even people that are just curious about what football is. RedZone is the #1 product that the NFL exports to every other country around the world to try and teach American football to a soccer-loving world, right? So it's a huge honor and it's a huge responsibility, but thank you for saying that. We want you to feel like, yeah, we know what's going on and we'll get you to the right place, but we also want you to feel like we're a friend. And hey, we're watching football with you at the same time. Can you believe what just happened in Detroit? Oh, wait a second. Did you see Seattle, what they just did right now? Like, we want you to feel like that because it's a communal thing. Our country, our world is so divided in so many different ways. There are very precious few things in society that people from all different backgrounds, all different walks of life can come together over. And in the United States, NFL football is right up there at the top of the list of things that bring all different types of people together. And so it's a responsibility, a privilege, an honor, and just fun. We just want to have fun with it. Your second question, when did I know that what I meant to people? Well, yeah, when you start getting stopped in airports or restaurants, that's kind of a typical, okay, wow, like people are inviting me into their homes. I'll give you one anecdote. I get some mail at the studio one time, and this is early on. This is season 17, so it happens all the time now, but this was rare back in the first few seasons. The mail guy at work comes by and hands me an envelope, and it was towards the end of the football season, so it was holiday time. And I open it up, and it's a Christmas card. And I hope I don't choke up when I say this, because it still gets me every time. It was a father of a family, and he said, dear Scott Hanson, we're writing out all of our Christmas cards right now, and our 8-year-old, I think it was a girl, I think it was like Jennifer, our 8-year-old Jennifer said, well, why don't we write one to Scott Hanson? Because he's a part of the family. Like they had written one to grandma and grandpa and aunt and uncle and whoever else.
God.
And the young child in the family suggested, let's write one to Scott Hanson because he's in our house every single Sunday. And I cried when I opened up that letter. And I mean, it's years ago now and it still kind of gets me. Man, that is, it's just something. It's just something.
I'm choked up.
That's so sweet. No, we talk a lot about on this show, like we get messages from people all the time saying we're able to kind of be an accessible entry point for people in sports. Like someone messaged us recently saying they got a job in sports and they listen to our show and they're able to now have talking points with their coworkers about sports because of our show. And I think what you do so well is make football accessible to people who can come in. They could watch Red Zone for the first time like me. I mean, obviously I have a background of what's going on during football games, but even if you didn't, you speak so clearly and give like just the perfect amount of information and say it in just the right way that you're able to remember exactly what's going on and understand what's in front of you.
Yeah.
When I feel like a lot of times sports, we always say like it can often feel very inaccessible to people. And I think you really make football much more accessible to obviously diehard fans and then people who are coming in for the first time and maybe have watched the Super Bowl just in passing.
That is
at
a
party.
massive compliment. I really, really mean that. And thank you. Thank you for that. And that's what I'm endeavoring to do. When I study my notes, I'm an old man. I'm old school. I still use hard copy notes here, but
Love it.
We love paper.
We're very analog
Okay.
here.
Yeah, we are.
Look at
We
our
are.
sign, Scott. It's a
I
hand-drawn
love it.
situation.
I love it. So anyway,
Thank you.
this is,
Thank you.
I read hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pages of information leading up to an NFL Sunday, but then I whittle it down to about 50 pages or so for what I do. So I've got, this was last week's here, and it's all chicken scratch. That's just the front page. But when I'm studying a game like Joe Buck on Monday Night Football, he's got 2 teams, 2 rosters, 1 game to cover. I'll have 11, 12, 13 games sometimes. And I want to know not only all of what I need to know about the games, the players, the teams, but I also kind of want to know what the audience knows. Because I don't ever want to insult anyone's intelligence, but I also want to fill in any gaps of knowledge where there might not be. And of course, I'm speaking to millions of people. So there are people who are watching football for the very first time. And then there are people who know as much about, cover 3 defense as I do, and so it's a hard balance to try and strike, but that's why your compliment was so appreciated, because I'm trying to do that. I don't ever want to insult anyone's intelligence. Like I said, I want to make it communal. I want to make it as communal as possible and accessible to as many people.
Scott, I'm gonna pitch you on
let's
something.
go.
This is bold. I'm gonna be
Everyone
really
has an
bold.
idea about
Someday-
Red Zone, by the way. Everyone has an idea of what we should do.
Red Zone as it is perfect. What I'm about to suggest is maybe someday, even for 20 minutes, you're doing Red Zone and we're there with the sports gossip facts about the players as people are watching. So it's like, well, this guy, who the punt returner, he just had a baby, so he might be a little tired. May I be so bold?
Yeah, the vibes. We talk a lot about on this show about vibes and how off the field vibes can often impact on the field performance. We talked about this a lot during the Super Bowl last year, that the Chiefs' vibes were just off. It was just the vibes were off. It just didn't feel right energetically. And so, I think we could add in a little,
I'll do this.
vibes updates
I'll do
to
this.
games.
Maybe we can build up to an in-studio appearance at some point. I can't guarantee that. I cannot guarantee that. We are high security at the NFL, but
Protect the shield.
But why don't we open up a communication line after this podcast, and you can send me your top 2 or 3 items that you're like, hey, did you know? Because I'll tell you what, I look for that stuff. Like J.J. McCarthy just had a baby prior to his what ended up being his second start, and that was a whole big deal and whatnot. And he left practice for a day to go see his first child born and all of that. I want to know that stuff because I think it's interesting to people, and it also might impact what we see on the field there.
Yeah.
So I'm always mining for gold in that way. Now I'm not going to get into some of the seedier side of things, like, this guy was reportedly, there's all sorts of stuff that's.
We also don't here. Gossip might be in the name of the show, but it's also, basically we say that sports has for so long been like socially acceptable gossip for men. We're just sort of reclaiming, like, gossip to us is any story where there's tension,
there's juice,
any story where
human interest. What makes me interested in that person's life that I'll never meet in real life necessarily, but I will watch them on TV. Oh, it adds color or shape or character to somebody throwing a touchdown.
Right.
Yes.
Right. You mentioned something a little bit earlier. You held up your notes, and I know you're a studious guy. You're locked in. You have pages and pages of notes and research that goes into the product. You attended Syracuse University. You graduated cum laude. That reads to me you were a studious student. You graduated from the Newhouse School of Public Communications. What were you like as a student?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't get asked that question a lot. So let me back up a little bit. In high school, I was not a good student. I was intelligent.
Really?
I was a typical jock, like captain of the football team. School was just a mechanism to get me on the football field. I was not disciplined the way that I should be. I had Natural ability and I had intelligence, but I didn't apply myself. Well, so I grew up in suburban Detroit, and went to Bishop Foley High School in Madison Heights, Michigan, for any of those in your audience who might know that area. But my grade point wasn't great. My ACT score wasn't great. But then I wanted to become a sportscaster. And my dad and I did research and found out that the Newhouse School at Syracuse University is the premier broadcasting school, certainly the premier sports broadcasting school in the country. Well, I applied, got rejected. I reapplied, got rejected a second time. And it wasn't their fault. My transcripts weren't good enough because I was kind of screwing around in high school, just kind of being I'll stay eligible with my grade point. But then I was like, oh man, the old life comes at you fast. It's like, if you want to be a success in this next level, because I knew I wasn't going to be an NFL football player, but to try and get the education I wanted, it was like, you better snap into attention. So the second time they rejected me, they sent me a letter saying, sorry, you're not accepted into the Newhouse School. We will accept you, or you have an option to be accepted into the liberal arts college with an option to transfer into Newhouse. But you need to have this type of grade point. You need to take this many credit hours. You need to pass, there's this legendary or infamous grammar, spelling, and punctuation test that they still administer to every student that goes to Newhouse, for journalistic sakes. It's necessary. And it was like known to be like the boogeyman on campus when you took this thing. But you had to pass that, and then there were some other requirements. So when I hit when I hit campus at Syracuse and I walked on the football team, so I was busy with football. That's like having a full-time job. And then my academics, I buckled down like I never did before. And as you said, I was on the dean's list all 4 years at Syracuse, and I'm very proud of that. And now they don't send me rejection letters; they sent me letters requesting donations from some of my NFL money.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, we definitely get those.
Have you? You should be a commencement speaker. Have you been a commencement speaker?
I have not. I love speaking to the next generation. If that opportunity ever came up, I would strongly consider it. But yeah, I have not done it.
Wow. You know, I was sort of similar in high school. Like, I had things that I was passionate about school wise, but like my grades weren't great. I think I applied to 15 schools, got into 3. I went to small liberal arts college because I sent a professor there my poems. I was like, I'm on the wait list. Like, can you help me out? And I think when I got there, it was that same sort of, I don't know. I feel like sometimes as you get older, you realize the joy of studying things. And I think like that's partly what can be so fun about sport. We joke on the podcast all the time that like we're just giving ourselves homework. It's like school, like researching stuff, you know, and it also provides such a avenue for everything. I mean, sports, you can talk about anything through the lens of sports. Have you been surprised at all by any aspects of the game that you've gotten like super nerdy about?
Oh, well, I agree with your last statement there that sports, and I would say specifically NFL football, taps into every form of life. I mean, nowadays I use geometry in my broadcasting. I use history. I use obviously mathematics. I use, you know, hopefully my grammar, spelling, and punctuation is decent. I use physics. I use, I mean, heck, like almost every academic discipline that you would have learned in your formative years can be applied at some point, at least in my job. And I actually think that's true for every walk of life. I don't care if you're a doctor, a lawyer, a school teacher, a police officer, whatever your walk of life is, you will apply, if you're good at it and you want to be excellent at it, you will apply all different dynamics that we would call, you know, academia, or things that you would use in academia in your job, even if it wouldn't traditionally theoretically be in the job description. Which is one reason why I am so glad I'm alive in the internet era and even the AI era. As scary as some of it is to some people and whatnot, I love it. I have a natural curiosity, not only about football, but about every aspect of life. We get one time going around this world, and I want to live it deep and well. And so I just have a natural curiosity, and the fact that I can just type into hit my phone or type into a keyboard something that I want to know, and I can learn from the greatest minds that have ever existed on the planet. Oh, what a thrill. So I'm sorry I meandered in that answer.
No, I love it.
No, that was great. No, that was great. Now I'm just starting to think about you in college, and I do have another college question for you. What type of student were you in a group project? Because we always talk about, at least I think for both of us, we were we take on the work for the group, we finish the project, get it across the finish line. I'm curious for you if you remember what type of student you were in a group project.
When you ask that question, I'd like to be a good teammate because I've been an athlete my whole life and in team sports. And I think that I love football not only for the athleticism that we see, but for the character that it requires and the character that it develops in young men and young women playing flag football and whatnot. I love it for that. But so I'd like to consider myself a good teammate. However, when you ask that question, I'll tell you a quick story. So I'm a competitor, right? I mean, like I love to compete. I don't go looking to stomp on anyone else, but when there are opposing forces, I want to figure out a way to win. So back to my rejection at Newhouse, when I finally got into Newhouse after my freshman year, I got in at the beginning of my sophomore year. Every class I sat in, I looked to my left, I looked to my right, and I said, okay, these people, the people that run this place, think that guy's better than me, and that gal's better than me, and this person's better than me. Okay, let's go. And it wasn't like I was trying to bring anyone else down. I was just like, let me show you what's inside of me. So there was one particular project, and it was one of the big ones at Newhouse. Newhouse, like every communication school, you have your own television broadcast. In our case, it was a news broadcast, right? The students, completely self-contained, would put on their own news broadcast. And back when I was in college in the 90s, that was a more novel thing. Not everyone had. First of all, we all didn't have a television studio in our back pocket, but it was a big thing to have a broadcast. So our professor, Don Edwards, the late, great Don Edwards, God rest his soul, he brought us in, and he was a competitor too. And he said, now, gang, you guys, we're going to do this for a semester. Once a week, we're going to put on a half-hour newscast. You will all be newscaster 1, newscaster 2, sportscaster, weathercaster, director, producer, audio, camera operator, teleprompter operator, every job there was to do. Everyone was going to rotate through. Now, the professor said, at first day of class, I recognize some of you have no interest in doing news. Some of you have no interest in running camera. I want you to experience all of it. But if you don't want to do the sportscast, and we had a couple of people in our class that were only interested in news, you can swap. And he gave us a list of everyone in the class, right? It was only 20 some people in this lab. So that night, actually not even that night, that afternoon, I went home and I got on the phone. This is before cell phones, so I'm dialing my apartment phone. Every student, I called every student in the class. Hey, do you want your sports? Because I was only interested in sports. Do you want your sportscasting? I had collected, I think, 8 of the sportscasting slots. Okay, the next week, or maybe 2 weeks later, Professor Edwards comes back with the list. And it says who's doing what week. He had the spreadsheet done or whatever. And it said Scott Hanson Sports, Scott Hanson Sports, Scott Hanson Sports. Some other dudes in the class were like, how is he getting all these ones and stuff? And Edwards looked back at it to his credit, because he could have said, yeah, you know what, Scott, he said, wait a second, did I not tell all of you simultaneously that you can swap with each other? And we were all like, yeah. And he goes, Scott, when did you call people? I said, I called people later that day when you said we could swap. I started calling everyone, and everyone that I swapped with absolutely wanted to swap with me. But there were other dudes, and so professor looked at him and said, you just learned a lesson about TV news right there. If you think someone's going to sit back and give you something, as opposed to you going out and getting it by legal means, I played within the rules.
Yep.
And so I had 8 reps at sportscasting in that semester. So I don't know if that's exactly what you were looking for.
No, well,
that's your villain origin story. Scott. That created.
I did it the right way. I will stand by that.
You did. Yeah, no.
But I understand.
That's your hero origin story. There you go.
No, what I'm hearing is that you would take the charge in a group project just like us. You would be leading the charge in a Google Doc. You'd be like, I'm orchestrating this. We're going to get this project done. We're going to get an A. So that's what I'm reading from the story.
I was in it to win it. Whatever the professors put as the
it.
parameters of the project, I was like, let's come up. If we're going to spend our time doing it at all, let's do it with excellence.
Fair enough.
I love it. Wow. Well, we don't have that much more time with you, Scott, but
let's go a little longer. I'm having a good time with you. Yeah. If you guys want to go a little longer, let's go.
All right.
Go.
No, you go.
Oh, I was just going to say, going back to your job, even though I do think all of this connects back to your job and why you're so good at it, what is the most surprising thing to you about your job hosting RedZone?
Surprising thing. Just the crazy multitasking, trying to keep everything straight in my brain, because you can kind of picture this. Like I said, I'm standing in front of a wall of monitors. By the way, this is my home here in Los Angeles. Let me show you over my shoulder for those watching. That's my, I don't know if it's kind of dark. That's my media wall. This is just my house. I had 5 TVs custom built on my media wall over here. Because
my God.
not only at work, but here at home, I'll have all 5 of those TVs on simultaneously, and the stimulus is comforting to me. I can have sports, news, movies, all simultaneously on and just kind of bounce my eyes around.
Have you always been like that?
So my mom tells me, she reminds me that when I was a little kid, and this is before cable television and stuff where you had 800 channels to choose from, I used to put on our living room TV, and then I would drag my dad's TV in from the den and put that next to it. It was on like a little wheel stand type of a thing. Put that next to it, and I would turn on the radio to try and get something else on, and I could have a magazine and a newspaper in front of me. And she's like, Scott, I've been watching you. When I had her watch RedZone one time, and I was like, Mom, isn't it cool? She's like, Scott, you act like I haven't been watching you do this your whole life. Like, don't you remember that? Like, she took me, you'll find this anecdote interesting. My mom, I could get so engrossed in a football game that I was watching. My mom would call me for dinner or lunch, whatever was, and she'd be in the kitchen 15, 20 feet away, and my eyes would not move from the TV. And it wasn't like I was ignoring her. It was, she thought I couldn't hear her. She took me to a hearing doctor because she thought something was wrong with my hearing, because when she's like, when I call him from 20 feet away, he won't come. And the doctor, and they tested my hearing, 100% hearing. I was so engrossed in what was on the television that I blocked out everything else, which of course,
you can just lock in.
Benefits me professionally here all these years later. But
no, it's a little eerie that something you would do as a kid ended up mimicking so closely, because your job is so specific. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, you were the first host of RedZone,
there's a little bit longer story to that. There used to be a show called the RedZone channel, which was only on DirecTV. And it was basically the same thing as NFL RedZone. But yes, I'm the original host of NFL RedZone, the one that everyone watches today. If you're watching RedZone today, there's only one RedZone. But there used to be one as well. But they'd be on.
But it's such a it's not like a job you knew existed.
Exactly.
As a kid.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. And some of my colleagues would, so before I did RedZone, I was a roving reporter for the NFL. So they'd fly me to Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts, and I'd be watching the Patriots game. So there you go. Okay. Wait, which one? Wait, who said that? I didn't see. Oh, let's
Charlotte,
go.
sorry.
Okay, Charlotte.
Yeah,
Hey, you might have found something in Drake May. He's coming along. He's coming along. Yeah. Anyway, but so this is in the glory days, right? I'd be in Gillette Stadium, sitting in the press box, watching Tom Brady and the Patriots, whip up on the Jets or something like that. But I'd have my laptop open, and I'd be looking at all the other games around the league, and I'd elbow the reporter to the left of me and to the right of me. Yeah, I know Tom Brady's doing this right now live in front of us, but Tony Romo just hit Terrell Owens on a 50-yard touchdown pass. And Adrian Peterson in Minnesota has 100 yards at the half. I always wanted to know everything that was going on in the NFL simultaneously. So it's a blessing to have this job that seemed to be created for the skill set and my passion that I have, and it's been a good marriage for a decade and a half.
Yeah, it feels like it was your calling. There was no other option for you. Like, this was the job for you based on your childhood. Do you have in your life outside of when you're filming RedZone, a RedZone mode in your everyday life that you go into and realize you're going into it? Like, you're multitasking house cleaning tasks or anything like that?
Yeah, I do everything. I'm a bachelor. I live on my own, and this is one reason why, probably because I am very particular about the way things can and should be done for efficiency, expediency. I'm like, no, whatever task there needs to be, no matter how mundane, let's figure out the quickest way to do it, the most efficient way to do it, a way that's not distracting for me, using brain power to think about something else at the same time. And multitask to the max, which goes back to, I literally want to get as many, I always tell people this. I don't know what anyone's philosophy, worldview, religion, whatever their perspective on life is. For 1 million people, there's probably 1 million different ones. But I would guess we almost all agree that we only get so many heartbeats in our life. And we'd probably all agree we don't know how many heartbeats we get. So how are you going to spend them is the way I try and live my life. However many I've got, how am I going to try and just get the most, to quote Thoreau, suck the marrow out of life and live deep. And so, yeah, that goes to like how I want to try and do things very quickly, efficiently, and free me up for, the deep, deep things of life, I guess. Boy, I feel like I should be laying down on a couch here telling you all this.
It's so good. I love
it.
I love it. It's funny. My dad is very similar. We actually call it when we call it his systems.
That's what I call it, systems.
I'm
like systems.
Oh
I had a girlfriend for a long time, and she and we would joke. I would do something, and she looked at me, and she wanted to do it a different way, and she looked at me, and she'd be like, systems? And I'd be like, systems.
Yes. Wait.
That's so
Oh my
funny.
God, that's wild. But something that you bring to Red Zone, which I think is part of what resonates with fans, is you have this infectious enthusiasm, and I think we live in a time where Gen Z has coined millennials cringe, whatever. Like I believe very much. We believe here on the show, like be enthusiastic about stuff. Like take off your cool jacket, right? Like what are we doing if you're not actually genuinely into something, and if it's not affected, if it's real. That really comes through, but it also feels like that you see in maybe things other people don't see, like the philosophical or deeper meaning. Like football to you, I don't think it's a coincidence in some ways that it's on a Sunday, and there's something. That sports can feel, and they can feel as small and trivial as you want them to, but they can also feel sort of spiritual. Sure. Like I was watching the Red Sox Yankees last night, and as a Red Sox fan, like I'm looking at this uniform, and I had this very strange. I was like, I love this. Like I feel so deeply connected to these men that I don't know because they're wearing this uniform. Like it can be very, very deep.
Let me try and maybe.
That's not even a question.
No,
I don't know. Now we're in therapy with you, Scott.
I love this type of conversation. Sports, we realize we have no control over what we're watching, right? And even if we're at a game live, you can have your lucky socks on, and you can have your whatever. You can, have driven the same way to the stadium, your ritual, your lucky thing, whatever. In your heart of hearts, and even if you're there yelling, you do not control what's going on, and yet your emotions, your emotions really is the top thing I would say. Will rise or fall based on a scoreboard. Well, let's equate that to life. Deep down, I think we all know, no matter how much seeming control we think we have on our lives, no matter how I want to fold my laundry a specific way in my systems, I know I'm ultimately not in control of everything, right? And so our experience in this life is based for a lot of us on the circumstances that we find ourselves in which we may or may not have any control over. Okay? The difference there is, in life, how much of it happens in the gray area. And one of the reasons I think we love sports is, predominantly, it's black and white. His foot was in bounds, his foot was out of bounds. This team scored 21, this team scored 17, this team wins, this fan base gets to be happy, these folks need to reevaluate their life choices, right? We love the haven, the intellectual or emotional or even spiritual haven that the concreteness, the black and whiteness, the yes or no-ness of sports brings us in our lives when the rest of our life is so much into, oh man, it's gray area and see what I'm saying? Like,
it's also, I think, partly why when the Cowboys and the Packers tied over the weekend, the post-game interview, Dak Prescott, quarterback for the Cowboys, looked so
bewildered.
Confused. He No,
Yes,
he
did.
could not. He basically said, "Well, I hope everyone had fun out there," because like that was a gray area that you very seldom see, and you seldom see athletes have it. He was like, "We're all kind of confused." So like it speaks to your point.
You've heard the old saying about what a tie is, right?
No.
Oh, you've never heard the old cliche? I don't think they say it anymore because it might not be so PC, I guess. But I'll say it. Not Scott Hanson original quote. A tie. It was some old football coach because college football used to have ties back in the day, and they only changed that in the last 15, 20 years. Anyway, it was an old college football coach, and he said a tie is like kissing your sister.
Wait,
A tie is like kissing your sister.
that
It's a kiss, but no, it's not a kiss.
Oh
But
my
it
God.
should-
I was
but it-
not expecting you to say that.
it should not be
No,
happening.
No. I mean,
Someone
a,
did-
a fraternal type of a affectionate kiss, obviously, is what he meant. This is back
I
in the
know.
60s or whatever. But a tie is like kissing
This
your
was-
sister.
yeah.
It's like, okay, well, it was a kiss, but yeah, it's not a kiss.
Peck on the cheek, not
Nope.
the same thing.
Not the
Nope.
same thing.
That's so good.
Oh,
you'll
my
never
God.
forget that
Wow.
one now.
I will
And
never
hopefully
forget
we don't
that.
have to employ that too many more times in the NFL because nobody likes ties.
I know.
Nobody-
No one likes ties.
No.
Well, we do need to talk about football for a second.
Yeah.
Are there any games you're really excited about this weekend? Well, technically starting tomorrow. But.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think the one that just popped into my mind right now will be one that precedes RedZone on NFL Network and NFL Plus. The Cleveland Browns are playing the Minnesota Vikings in Cleveland. I don't know if your audience is watching this live, but just this morning, as we record this, the Browns decided to make a quarterback change. So Dylan Gabriel, the next, we've had two rookie quarterbacks start in the NFL so far this year. He'll be the third rookie quarterback. And there is a romantic notion about a rookie quarterback getting his first NFL start because, maybe there's a chance, something new, something different.
Yes.
Let's see. And it doesn't matter if you were a mid-round pick or the first-round pick. I mean, you're more hyped if it was a first-rounder. But we saw a kid named Tom Brady, who was the 199th player taken in his particular draft, get his first NFL start, which was actually in his second year, but come out of nowhere, and every fan base thinks, let's see the new kid. And the Browns are gonna do that. So that one's from London, and it's 9:30 a.m. Eastern on NFL Network. So I'll be interested to watch that one as I lead up to RedZone. So
Yeah. No, it's also, I feel like the NFL draft and when a rookie quarterback starts are the two most hopeful times for an NFL fan base. Like nothing has gone wrong yet. It can still, it can still all be like, this could be the next 15 years of your life. Like, it's a possibility. It's not necessarily statistically what's going to happen, but so you're saying there's a chance,
Hope springs eternal. And that's why the NFL draft. Have either of you been to the NFL draft in person?
I have, and it's a wild thing to watch fans go to hear basically it would be, we often compare sports teams here to companies because they are, players are employees. It would be like if your company were announcing hey, we are going to choose a new chief technical officer, and everybody showed up to a party to hear the CEO or the
founder, the chairman
of the board announce who it was going to be.
Well, I would say this,
but
it might
it's
be a little bit
romantic
more
because
like
it's sports.
Stockholders showing up. Because the employees are part of the team. Stockholders are kind of along for the ride. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Where the stockholders would be like, this guy or this gal is going to get it right. This is the one. This is the CFO we needed the whole time. I knew it. That's the one I wanted. And because the NFL draft, Madeline, put it on your list.
That's the next video.
Yeah.
Oh, it should, because you will be like, what is going? It's a festival.
No,
I mean, the NFL knows how to do big live events. And everyone,
For sure.
predominantly, everyone is happy there. You see 32 different hats and jerseys, and everyone's like, you know what, this guy, this is our guy. Yeah, all that type. It's a fun time. Fun time.
It's like when you're to continue our company analogy we like to do on this show, it's like when you go on an offsite to a really nice location with your company and everyone is jazzed and you're there and everyone's really excited about like the next quarter, whatever projects you're doing. It's like there's still a level of innocence before you have to face reality that like, oh, what if this guy we drafted really isn't as good as we all thought he was going to be?
Yeah.
Exactly. No, well, I would... It would be an honor to be your spirit guide through your first.
Oh, make the video, girls, and
is
tag me when you do because I want to watch it. I want it.
We will.
Yeah. Well, this has been so much fun, you guys.
This has been great. We have one final question for you. We ask this to all of our guests. What is your favorite piece of sports gossip of all time or storyline that you think about?
Yeah.
It can really be anything.
Again, not like a salacious, Tiger Woods situation, but it could also be a Tiger Woods situation.
I mean, I follow all those. Like, here's one that I got to use on RedZone, and that a lot of people, not many people knew, I don't think at all. And I hope I get all the details right because it was probably 12 years ago. But I was preparing for RedZone, and the Detroit Lions were hosting the Dallas Cowboys. This was during the Tony Romo years. So Romo's starting at quarterback for Dallas. And I found out, I always see, when I look through the rosters, I'm like, well, who played for this team before, right? We call it a revenge game, right? Oh, okay, so-and-so's going against his old team. Oh, he'll have a little extra juice. Some people believe in that, some people don't. Anyway, but I still like to know. And I'm looking through and I'm like, it was a linebacker, and I want to say his name was Dan Carpenter. I think it was Dan Carpenter, the linebacker, who had played for the Cowboys. Now he's playing for the Lions. So I'm like, okay, revenge game for Dan Carpenter, and I hope it's Dan Carpenter. If it's not, someone could put it in the mentions and tell me who it was.
Yeah.
But as I was digging a little bit further, I found out not only did Dan Carpenter play for the Cowboys, but he was actually very close friends with Tony Romo when they were on the team together. Not only did I learn they were very close friends, they were boys. And not only did I learn that they were boys, he was a groomsman in Tony Romo's wedding. So I filed this away. I'm like, well, he plays linebacker. He plays quarterback. If he would get a quarterback sack, I can drop the fact that, by the way, not only is that a quarterback, it gets better. Middle of the game, Romo throws over the middle, intercepted, and it's Dan freaking Carpenter, and he runs it back for a touchdown and runs over Romo to go into the end zone and is celebrating. And I'm like, now I get to drop this bit of, whatever sports gossip. It's like, that's going to be at the, if they have a wedding anniversary, like reunion or something like that. I'm like, that's going to be interesting the next time those guys are hanging out, because that guy that just did that to that guy was his groomsman in his wedding. So that's just one that popped up. Because it was fun. I had done the research before, so I was hopeful, but I wasn't going to force it unless it fit. And that one fit perfectly. And so that's what I'm saying. Let's keep in touch after that. If you want to send me, hey, Scott, did you know that so-and-so, this, that, and it could come into play and could be a mention on RedZone.
Cool. All right. Listen, it also goes both ways. If you're like, hey, I don't know if I'm going to be able to use this, but you gals, this might be interesting.
Yeah.
Or if something comes up that you didn't use, but you're like, we'll have Scott's corner, and we'll be like, some facts that Scott couldn't fit into his broadcast.
We'll just read them off.
You got it. That's a deal. That's a deal.
Awesome. Oh man, thank you so much. This was such a pleasure to talk to you. We will be seeing you on Sundays, and we will open up that line of communication for sure. Thank you so much for so much of your time.
Thank you.
You guys
so
are
much,
great.
Scott.
Great being with you, and have a great rest of the football season.
Incredible conversation. Oh my God.
Thank you.
That was so good.
It's just like when someone takes sports gossip seriously, who is in a position of such respect within the league and, is so in the X's and O's, but also understands that people's lives can affect what happens on the field.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
No, it was amazing. And then talking about company men and women with him. Oh, highlight. That truly was like That might be one of my favorite things we've done on the show
Yeah.
so far. Truly. Like, that was just so special
I think so too.
and fabulous.
And look, we will be following up on that line of communication.
Watch out, Scott.
Thank you so much to everybody for listening, coming on this journey. Again, you can find Scott, figure out where to watch NFL RedZone at nfl.com/RedZone. And you can subscribe and rate and review and tell all your friends about our show.
Yeah.
You know what? I bet you went to college with someone who's obsessed with RedZone.
Oh, yeah.
Send him this interview.
Send it to him. And then follow us on Instagram at Sports Gossip and TikTok at Sports Gossip Show.
Boom.
Just saying.
All right.
Okay.
Folks, we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Okay. Bye.